So we all know that men and women are physically very different, right? Well, most. And that's a good thing. One place that it really shows up, though, is in sports. Dr. Marcy Boswell is back to give us some background information as to why that is the case. And it's not the obvious reasons that you might think. Right, Marcy?
Well, it's a little bit of the obvious things, but it's not like I sit around and watch NASCAR all the time, because I don't. But I saw Danica Patrick, and I was like, you go, girl, you know, really compete with the guys.
Yeah.
You know, they say men just do have more upper arm strength, and one of the other reasons they have just bigger cardiovascular systems. It's about 10% more. But I don't see why.
Is that because their hearts are bigger?
Their hearts are bigger, and we've talked about it before, that during the teenage years that testosterone hits, and they just get more hemoglobin. And if you look across the differences between men and women, we've caught up a lot. But we're still got about a 10% gap between the elite women athletes and the elite men athletes.
Now explain, because most people know all this, but explain why this is important, because there's one point.
Well, at one point, okay, I'm going to channel Karl Rove here a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a conservative
Hold that
station.
up so my camera can catch it.
All right, all right.
Okay.
So back in 1908, when the Olympics first started, this is women, this is men.
Okay.
We did not have the same. We were in dresses, for God's sake. We were in these long dresses. How are we supposed to compete like that?
I know. Let them wear the dresses.
You know, high heels and long skirts. And we just didn't have the opportunities. The men, frankly, just wouldn't give them to us. And so over time, this average has changed. And so now, this is 1920s. Mm-hmm. So now we're in the 2013. So this is a normal curve, okay? Mm-hmm. This is women and this is men. So we're still here and here. And this gap is about 10% of the elite athletes. But what you do see is, look at this cross here. We are making gains, okay? And, you know, the gap may go like that or something like that, but women are making gains. And it doesn't mean you have to be masculine or take the testosterone like these German women.
You don't have to look like a man?
You do not have to look like a man.
That's a good thing.
Well, yeah. Frankly, women's sports are more popular now. The women's tennis circuit is much more popular than the men's tennis circuit.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's because they're cute out there in skirts, okay? And our sports...
I don't think that. I don't know if that's the reason.
Well, one of the things is that women's sports are just as strategic. Mm-hmm. They are just as interesting. They are just as electrifying. And people are starting to recognize that.
However, there's double standards in contact sports. Like my daughter plays lacrosse and played field hockey. Mm-hmm. Now, men's lacrosse, they've got the helmet. You can do, you know, you can bash the guys, whatever. You can't do that. It happens, but you're not supposed to do it. You get fouled. And I think that's crap. If they allow it for the men, allow it for the girls, and just pat them up.
Well, we've talked about that CTE injury before. I think we ought to not allow it for the men as we not allow it for the girls. I mean,
just have the proper equipment, you know?
Right.
We need to develop the proper equipment.
Right. But girls are channeled early on, even before this testosterone surge, into more female-type sports. And so
you haven't met my 19-year-old.
Well, she's the exception.
She's a beast. Beautiful beast, but she is. She's an athlete.
But the beautiful thing is, we're starting to get families and parents who are really starting to support their kids. You know, yeah. I as a surgeon was you know, supported to do what I do, but one of my old chiefs was a man's man, and didn't really appreciate girls coming into things. Yeah. And then he had to experience women coming into the workforce, and so he had a completely different perspective on his girls. And so he really got them into sports and all. But I think the important thing is, we don't have to necessarily always go against the guys. We can have our own exciting sports arenas within our own level. I mean, we are just as exciting and fun to watch as the men. I mean, seriously. I think so.
Too bad not the rest of America, you know, population feels that way, because let's put it, I mean, it's obvious that male sports get all the money, all the advertisement money, the fan base. I'm sorry, Marcy, but
they do.
Money talks.
But we are making inroads. I mean, since Title IX passed, we are making inroads. We've got women first, women baseball players. We had a woman kicker, and the other thing that sparked my interest in this is the girl wrestler. And then Danica. And
do you
the
think,
other
well,
women.
Danica got the #1 spot for the first time in history, female, right? In the race. She still came top 10, 10, but
she was actually #3, and then the teammates
so
came
it's
around.
what happens at the end, Marcy. Sorry, she didn't cut the mustard. But my point is, are you going to tell everybody else it's because she doesn't have the arms, the bone structure, the muscular structure to compete with the men?
Absolutely not. She is one of these exceptions.
Okay, good.
She's one of these people that can compete with the
And
men.
she's a peanut, like she's thin. You would think that she would need.
She's like 5 foot something and is just a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And frankly, she's really smart, and she uses her brains. Women use their, and not to say men don't, but we have to.
You better watch it. We got a male producer here that's going to cut you off.
We have to be more efficient.
Yeah.
And you know, Kobe Bryant actually came up and asked one of the ladies basketball coaches, you know, how do you do it? She's 50 and a ladies basketball coach, and he goes, how do you do it? How do you keep your longevity? Because women are more into longevity and not taking some of the risks, and so we last longer. As far as the
a great analogy, but I got to tell you, at least you don't hear in female sports all the scandals that go on with them.
You got a good point there. We don't take the risk-taking behaviors that some of the other ones do.
We don't go crazy and embarrass the family. Or if they do, they keep it very covert. They're smart about it.
Smarter about it. Yeah. We'll meet
All
you
right.
out back.
So do you think we're changing, evolving into another species at some point that will be stronger, that will be able to compete with men more?
Well, they
Endurance
anticipated in 2031 that we would be on par and be able to compete head-to-head with them. But the fact of the matter is,
Who
it's
anticipated
just
that? That's just ridiculous.
Well, they didn't think it ridiculous then.
Well, they also didn't realize the female brain and the male brain were different till the last, 10 years, 15 years? Remember when the government only examined the male brain? That was like mandatory, and it just started examining them.
Or heart disease. They only examined men's heart disease because women's heart disease wasn't important.
No, but we're different. And hello, I love. Oh, we just want to officially say the female brain is different from the male brain. Really? Okay.
But I think we need to celebrate the differences.
Oh, I do. I think I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. But
Yes, you
I
do.
don't. No, I
Yes,
don't.
you
No, I
do.
don't mean it. I know it sounded funny. No, Andrew, who's in my ear right now, my male producer. I love that he's a male, and I love that I could talk to him and get a different perspective. I love that. I have a lot of male friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we should enjoy sports, and it's a great team building thing for women and to advance. But you know, we're just not going to. Most of us are not going to be able to go head to head with the men because we just don't have the upper arm strength and the cardiovascular
So
strength.
we got to go head to head with our head.
That's right.
With this head.
With the little mental prowess.
Because yeah.
You know, women are always snaky.
We can endure a lot as females, that's for sure.
That's true.
Thank you, Marcy, for
You're
joining us on
welcome.
Prime Time.